Tell me.
I hear you.
Is it you?
Is it you? Hey, I hear you.
I got a strong visual once while listening to someone teach about iniquity. While they likened iniquity to be like a deep root in the sea, I saw a storm over that sea, and after it subsided, junk had bubbled up from that root and migrated to the shoreline. Then the shoreline was raked and all pretty. But then another storm, and up came the junk, only to be raked again and again. What needs to happen? That person that's so talented with that rake needs to go out into the water, or go into the spirit and get rid of that root. Of course it's deep and hard to get to, but Jesus is already poised at the root beneath the surface. He's been waiting to see your thumbs up beneath the water.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Hearing God. This is yet another message about circumcising our hearts, and I'm going to read from 1 Samuel in a commentary style. The Lord had me pondering over Saul's disobedience one day, so I'll call this Saul, Godliness Gone Wrong. Where's the heart at? In 1 Samuel 13, we see Saul boasting about defeating an encampment of Philistines. But then the Philistine army was so thick about them that Israelites were hiding all over the countryside, and Saul's army was poised in Gilgal, shaking with fear. Saul was instructed to wait for Samuel's return, a set time of 7 days. So, starting off with verse 8, "And he tarried 7 days, according to the set time that Samuel had appointed. But Samuel came not to Gilgal, and the people were scattered from him. And Saul said, Bring hither a burnt offering to me, and peace offerings. And he offered the burnt offering." So, in my commentary style, this is where I break and add my little comment. Just pay attention here. He's looking at the natural and he's clinging to a ritual. He's not clinging to faith. Continuing with verse 10. "And it came to pass that as soon as he had made an end of offering the burnt offering, behold, Samuel came, and Saul went out to meet him, that he might salute him." Here, Saul was found disobedient in the 11th hour. If he just would have held out and trusted, he would have been a good and faithful servant. So, let's read on. Down to 11. "And Samuel said, What hast thou done?" So, continuing on with the commentary, I keep getting a picture of a huge plume of smoke from this sacrificial offering, and pinpointing and exposing the location of God's army, and thinking, this is, just how modern day Christians think they are doing things for the kingdom, but they're really setting up persecution, painting a bad picture for all Christians, for all the nations to despise and hate us. So, "And Saul said, Because I saw that the people were scattered from me, and that thou camest not within the days appointed, and that the Philistines gathered themselves together at Michmash, therefore said I, The Philistines will come down now upon me to Gilgal, and I have not made supplication unto the Lord. I forced myself, therefore, and offered a burnt offering." I forced myself. Basically, he's expecting the worst, and now he's bailing out. Notice how he's putting this, what I'd like to call a godly paste over the whole situation. You could say a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. So, back to verse 13. "And Samuel said to Saul, Thou hast done foolishly. Thou hast not kept the commandment of the Lord thy God, which he commanded thee. For now would the Lord have established thy kingdom upon Israel forever." So, this all really puts to mind those end-time cheesy flicks. You've got the girl on the guillotine chopping block, and at the last moment she renounces Jesus because she doesn't want to die. Then there's an earthquake and everybody runs away, but there she is stuck in this guillotine, and the latch jiggles and comes off, and we know had she just shut her mouth and trusted, she would have been in paradise, but she blew it all in the 11th hour. And like I mentioned in the iniquity scene earlier, let's go down to 1 Samuel 15 and see what good old Saul tries to rake from the beach this time. This is God saying this. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. So then we skip down and get the results of all of this in verse 10. Then came the word of the Lord unto Samuel, saying, It repenteth me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he is turned back from following me, and hath not performed my commandments. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto the Lord all night. He knew something was up. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou of the Lord. I have performed the commandment of the Lord. So here we go, applying this godly pace to everything again. And Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. And Saul said unto Samuel, Yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord. Whoa, that's a little bit of a stretch. And I have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and I have brought Agag, the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people took of the spoil, sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God in Gilgal. So, what is the mindset of it's okay to do stuff because it's for the Lord, when it goes contrary to what the Lord commanded? It's the same sort of thing in the scriptures where it talks about, instead of helping someone in need, you get this religious-y thing about, I got to give it to God, when Jesus says that he comes, when we do it to the least of these, or when we do it to our brother, we're doing it unto him. So it's just this whole messed up mindset, when the obedience is the most important thing. So down to verse 22. And Samuel said, Hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For the rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. And Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandment of the Lord and thy words, because I feared the people and obeyed their voice. Now therefore, I pray thee, pardon my sin, and turn again with me, that I may worship the Lord. And Samuel said unto Saul, I will not return with thee, for thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord hath rejected thee from being king over Israel. So, Samuel can see right through Saul's words. He can see into his heart. If we fast forward, sure, David made tons of mistakes, but God showed us enough in the scriptures to reveal David's repentant heart. So Saul could say all he wanted, but those words mean absolutely nothing. God is looking in here. Verse 27, And as Samuel turned about to go away, he, which is Saul, laid hold upon the skirt of his mantle, and it rent. And Samuel said unto him, The Lord hath rent the kingdom of Israel from thee this day, and hath given it to a neighbor of thine, that is better than thou. And Samuel came no more to see Saul until the day of his death. Nevertheless, Samuel mourned for Saul, and the Lord repented that he had made Saul king over Israel. God showed me that what we can see in Saul is the called, but in David we really see the chosen. With that first little example I gave you, one rakes the beach, but the other has surrendered the root. Both are loved, but to one is disappointment and the other is absolute joy and delight. One fails in the 11th hour because the focus is not straight ahead, believing all things and trusting all things, and hearkening to the voice of the Lord. So I encourage you each to examine when the storms come in life. Are you seeing a pattern? Are you raking that beach? When you are in the wine press or in the storm, are you spending more time crying out to God, or are you running to other men asking for their prayers or their opinions of what to do? I encourage you to get out there into the water and go heart to heart with the Lord.